time to begin. I'll count it in. 5, 6, 7, 8.
My boots scooting baby is driving me crazy. My obsession from a western. My dance floor date. My rodeo Romeo. A cowboy got from head to toe. Wanna make you mine, better get in line. 5, 6, 7, 8. My boots scooting baby is driving me crazy. My obsession from a western. My dance floor date. My rodeo Romeo. A cowboy got from head to toe. Wanna make you mine, better get in line. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Kicking, finger clicking, leather slapping, hand clapping, hip bumping, music thumping, knee hitching, heel and toe, floor scuffing, leg shuffling, big grinning, body spinning, bumping, stumping, pumping, jumping, sliding, gliding. Here we go.
My boots scooting baby is driving me crazy. My obsession from a western. My dance floor date. My rodeo Romeo. A cowboy got from head to toe. Wanna make you mine, better get in line. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Tush pushing, thunder booking, cowgirl twisting, no resisting, drum banging.
Girls, we are back.
Yeah, yeah. Sexy. Everything about you so sexy. You don't even know what you got. You're really hitting my spot. Oh yeah, yeah. And you're so innocent. Please don't take this wrong, 'cause it's a compliment. I just wanna get with your flow. You gotta learn to let go. Oh, baby, won't you work it a little? Oh, yeah. Hot, just a little. Oh, yeah. Me in the middle. Let go just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Give me just a little bit more. Just a little. Let me. I'll do anything if you just let me. Find a way to make you respond. I know you wanna break down those walls, yeah, yeah. And it's so challenging. Getting close to you's what I'm imagining. I just wanna see you get down. You gotta let it all out. Oh, baby, won't you just do work with me? Oh, yeah. Hot, just a little. Me in the middle. Oh, yeah. Go just a little bit. Give me just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Work it a little. Get hot, just a little. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so from what I'm aware, the news is about to start. So enjoy it, and I'll see you shortly.
These are the latest headlines in the UK and around the world. Edward Cathcart wins the Commonwealth Secretary General elections after beating New Zealand nominated Ben Hathaway.
Major candidates' experiences, Hathaway, a former Justice Secretary in the UK, former President of the King's Bench, Chief Secretary in Gibraltar, and a Reclaim Party peer, and Cathcart. Cathcart, who is a former Tory MP and experienced civil servant, do have things in common that they lack foreign affairs experience. Hathaway's lack of foreign affairs
Right.
experience might be one of
Sorry
the
about
reasons-
that. Hello?
Didn't-
Did any of that come through? Oh my days. Alright. Just forget about that. We'll start again, yeah?
Fine.
Right, sorry about those technical difficulties on behalf of the GV News team. I could hear some feedback and I thought a muting would would fix that. This is GV News. These are the latest headlines in the UK and around the world. Edward Cathcart wins Commonwealth Secretary General elections after beating New Zealand nominated Ben Hathaway. A number of nations voted unexpectedly in what has been described as a shocking result from within Hathaway's camp. Voting has opened in the Northern Irish elections as three unionist parties battle for control of the Assembly in an unprecedented race. The King has been spotted in Mongolia visiting UK troops on the third day of their deployment. This comes after yet another bloody day of fighting on the streets of Ulaanbaatar. The Deputy Prime Minister is expected to be releasing a statement shortly, following a damning 1922 committee vote on the coalition. Whether or not he will listen to his backbenchers and pull out is yet to be seen. But now, back to our main story of the evening. Edward Cathcart has beaten rivals Ben Hathaway and Greg Boyd 3-2-1 to become the next Commonwealth Secretary General, following the resignation of Liam Tialdana. I'm joined now by World Affairs Editor Mark Fremwell. Mark, good evening. What do you make of today's events?
Well, you know what? Commonwealth Secretary Generals are coming and going, probably because none of them really have much ideas for what to do with the Commonwealth. Let's just hope that the incoming Secretary General can turn the Commonwealth around.
What's the general feeling within the Commonwealth? Are people happy about this result, or do you think there's a bit of animosity rather, concerning these results and the fact that the person who looked to be the front runner for a lot of the race, Ben Hathaway, was not elected?
Well, you know what? From what I've known about the Commonwealth, it's usually when a Secretary General gets elected, even if it's quite close, usually everyone supports the new incoming Secretary General. So I think the mood is, probably just the same as before, but I think the mood regarding the Commonwealth itself is probably just static, just the same as always. People know that there's not really much to do with the Commonwealth except support each other as a organisation.
Well, we should be joined shortly by Ben Hathaway, the man who lost. Shortly, but let's just talk about the man who won for a little bit. Obviously, Edward, very renowned figure within foreign affairs, member of the very prestigious Cathcart family, which has dominated foreign affairs for quite a while, and notably, a family member is the current permanent secretary of the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office. What do you think that this appointment means for the UK's position in the Commonwealth? Do you think it's going to strengthen it, or could we see a shift away from a very UK-centric organisation with the election of Edward? Right, looks like we've lost Mark there. But I do believe that we've got Ben with us now. Right, yeah, we've got Ben with us now. Ben, hello. And I'm sorry for what I'm sure was quite a heartbreaking result for you
Yeah, I
and
mean-
for your camp.
I mean, it was quite surprising, to be honest with you. I did predict the close nature of it, obviously, within 2 votes. My calculations were that I was either winning or losing by 2 votes. So, yeah.
Who were the nations who shocked you? Obviously, that phrase "unexpected" has been circulating now since the results were released. There were, as you've mentioned, a couple nations who looked like they were going to be voting for you, who at the last minute got swayed. Do you have any idea
Yeah,
why that
obviously,
happened?
Obviously, quite disappointed with that having secured quite a large amount of votes, I think, towards the start of the campaign. But yeah, I mean, it came a bit of a surprise to see the result. Obviously, nothing against Edward. He obviously done really, really well. And again, as I put out on Twitter, obviously it wasn't meant to be, clearly. Yeah, so with regard to the nations, again, yeah, quite a surprise. Obviously, the UK backing Edward. I was backed by a few of the other big players in the Commonwealth, so it was quite close, and we'll see how it goes from here. But yeah, disappointing nonetheless.
In the past, obviously, we've seen people who compete in these elections end up working together during the term. We've seen in the past we've had the runners-up sometimes appointed to the secretariat and find themselves working with obviously the successful candidate. Have you and Edward spoken about potentially working together, about shaping the Commonwealth through a joint vision?
Obviously, me and Edward have pretty similar ideas. You could see during the campaign that was evident. However, obviously, with respect to Edward, he's away on his weekend trip, so I haven't been contacted yet. Obviously, probably due to that reason. But I would expect to be offered some sort of secretariat role. Obviously, it was briefly mentioned, but I won't go into private stuff. But I mean, I'm willing to work with him if that happens. Obviously, we had quite similar, you can almost even say identical ideas. But yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ben. And I wish you luck this term with those prospects. Thank you for joining us today.
Cheers, pal.
So, voting has opened in the Northern Irish elections. It was announced by the Electoral Commission earlier today. I'm joined now by our political editor, DNC Mark, who's live in Stormont. Mark, this is an unprecedented election for Northern Ireland because usually it's sort of fought on the lines of republicanism and unionism. However, this election we've seen that we only have unionist parties contending for the assembly. We have Labour, the Democratic Unionist Party, and the Ulster Unionist Party. How is this shift? I guess along party lines, along sort of the traditional Northern Irish battlegrounds, affected the ways in which, or affected the potential result which we could see tomorrow.
So, ever since the whole Biot situation, we've seen that Northern Ireland in general has seen a lot fewer voters in general. Whether or not the parties within it are, unionist or Republican doesn't really matter, because in the end, you're gonna see that most of the leaders themselves, in the end, support the UK. So, for example, the DUP, led by Michael Rothschild, who's the former Secretary for Foreign Affairs, who has extreme loyalty to the UK and has sided with it, almost forever now. The same goes with people like Gamers Go Bing Bang, who was banned once for being an alt, by the way, leading the UUP. All of these different people have some sort of loyalty to the UK. It hasn't really affected the political climate in Northern Ireland as the Bayat situation did. But we're gonna see how the actual voter turnout is affected, since they're not voting in game anymore. They're actually voting on Discord. That could potentially drive out more voters, since it's a bit easier to vote on Discord rather than in game.
Okay, well, this is the first election for quite a while now in Northern Ireland. What's the reaction been sort of on the ground concerning, the fact that Stormont is back, is active, and the democratic process is going to be taking place once again?
I mean, the whole thing with the legislative elections is every time there are elections within Northern Ireland, you see a bit of activity. You see about 60, 70 people voting, and then it dies out again. That's been a problem now since the Bayat situation almost 10 months ago. And it hasn't really changed much. The only change we've seen over the past couple of months is the Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs at the time, Michael, changing the whole devolution thing into direct rule instead. And that happened around, I believe, May or June. Since then, there has, been almost no changes because the interim government, as it's called, hasn't really done much. The only change we've seen, other than that, is a bit of legislative changes. Nothing really, memorable. But as you can tell, there isn't much that's actually going to change in Northern Ireland, regardless of whether they have elections or direct rule. It's almost always the same.
I mean, is there really much in it? Usually in the past, we've seen when it was more traditionally along the Republican and the Unionist lines, we'd have a coalition between the Unionist parties, and usually their objectives would be the same. You'd see them work very well together, and there wouldn't really be much change depending on who was the major partner in that coalition, who was the minor partner in that coalition.
Mhm.
Is there really that much of a difference now between the different parties in Northern Ireland? And do you think that, as you've alluded to, there'll be much change regardless as to who's elected into the executive?
I mean, if you look at the three parties at the moment, almost all of them are ran by leaders who are former members of the Conservative Party within the UK. So there isn't really much of a difference, politically. The only difference you can actually see between all three parties is just nominal. So you have the DUP, you have the UUP, and then you have the Labour Party. It's nothing, different in terms of what they're offering. It's just different in terms of what they're actually named.
All right, thank you, Mark. I'm sure that we're going to be with you soon, so stay on the line because, as we've already said, there's a statement expected in about 7 minutes from the Deputy Prime Minister.
Of course.
So yeah, thank you. Now, about an hour or so ago, our reporters on the ground in Mongolia spotted His Majesty the King making a surprise visit to British troops who are currently on their third day of quite a eventful deployment in the capital, Ulaanbaatar. I'm joined now by our defense editor, Wee Gucci today, who's reporting live from the Mongolian capital. Gucci, what does the situation look like now on the ground?
Well, currently the fighting's died out with the monarchists currently taking control. However, that's because of course US troops and British troops and all the other peacekeeping forces have withdrawn. But we'll be seeing them around 6-7 o'clock tomorrow. With the civil war, as you said, continuing, British paratroopers from the 16th Air Assault Brigade were seen deployed once again, and around at 6:15, the King was found deployed, fighting alongside British paratroopers. And here in the capital, here in the Mongolian capital, Ulaanbaatar. His Majesty was seen talking to Tongan and Dutch troops. It's believed he left before the British troops did eventually withdraw around 20 minutes before. And the paratroopers withdrawing at 7 p.m. Then afterwards, of course, the US armed forces really led the battle. As well as all that, today we saw a new force. Well, not really a new force, but we saw the private military and security company Omega Tactical for the second time in the Civil War, and they've really been leading the charge in the battle on behalf of the monarchist rebels. And this PMC has 48 members. We saw about 8 of them deployed today. They describe themselves as a 5-star rated top-tier PMCS. But yeah, that's really it.
What kind of effect do you think having the king visit them on the ground, and as we saw actually fight for a short while, what kind of effect do you think that is going to have had on troops who now really are in on quite a serious deployment? It's been 3 days now, and the fighting doesn't seem to have eased. Were there any sort of indication that morale was being lost, that there was a shift in the fighting, in that the results were sort of making their way to the royalist side? And do you think that this visit by the king marks a morale boost per se for British troops, or do you really think it wouldn't have had much of an impact?
I mean, British troops have shown quite a lot of enthusiasm, but as we've noticed, the government have not made an official response except from a letter they've pushed out. And of course, the Deputy Prime Minister did answer a question showing his support for the Mongolian forces. However, really, it's the only response we've had from the government. And I mean, these guys are very enthusiastic, and we saw the UK forces sweep the floor with the monarchists, them holding control for most of the battle, if not all of it. Of course, we saw that control loosen up when they did eventually withdraw for the British Armed Forces inspection we saw today, which sadly ended early due to the server crashing. But yeah, it hasn't really affected the morale, but they're very enthusiastic, I think. I mean, I saw some very brave troops out here today making some very risky moves.
And you've been there all day, as I gather. So, what's it look? I mean, has there sort of been a easing in the fighting? Or has the intensity that we've seen in the past 2 days kept up? And
I mean, yep, carry on, sorry.
we've received reports, obviously, from you that it was another a government victory today. Do you think that the royalists now are starting to, I don't know, lose morale, sort of recognize their position might be a untenable one? And how long do you think the fighting is going to continue to last?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've seen the fighting they're saying it's going to continue for another 5 days at least. The royalists never really had a good fight. I mean, as soon as British, American, and Dutch, and all the other countries that joined in the UN peacekeeping, they've really had not a chance. I mean, today we've seen how the royalist forces improve. We saw more royalists today, and we saw this new private military company who've really done who've really put up a fight, really.
Mm. And on the top of the political spectrum in Mongolia, obviously the sort of core of the conflict is between the monarch, Karl Emil Mannerheim, and the government led by Scripted Sid and Hunterman 123. Has there been any breakthrough in terms of peace talks, in terms of reaching a solution now between those two parties? Or do you think that there isn't going to be a peaceful end to this anytime soon?
From what I've seen, no. I think the battle's going to continue until there are no rebels left or there are no peacekeepers left. However, I think this is going to be a war which is going to be won by the peacekeepers. However, we have to wait and see.
All right. Thank you very much, Ewan.
No problem.
So I'm joined now in the studio by the most senior advisor to the Deputy Prime Minister, to Conservative Deputy Prime Minister, Roger B. Moore. So, hello, welcome to GB News.
Thank you.
So we've had reports from insiders within the Conservative Party to who've been suggesting that we're going to be receiving a statement today from the Deputy Prime Minister. There's been unofficial talk that this is going to be in about 1 minute, and I'd just sort of like to get your thoughts on the whole coalition system, the whole coalition situation, and how it's progressed really since we were live around 24 hours ago.
Well, Andre, this is what I know so far. Ever since the news broke out that the Conservatives might be leaving the coalition, I believe Reba has been the Prime Minister, I believe, has been in contact with the Deputy Prime Minister on what is going to happen. And I believe that the Prime Minister didn't really ask for oh, is there something we can work out, something that we can just get this coalition to just stay together. No, it was mostly, it really just was about, do you want me to call another general election, or can I govern with just a minority? I'm not exactly sure what Marx's response is, but I believe from what's been happening in the Conservative Party, with Marcus meeting with the 1922 committee and his ministers, I do believe that the Conservatives will be leaving the coalition.
So we can expect that the Conservatives, in a statement that's going to be released in the next couple of minutes, will be withdrawing from the coalition with the Labour Party. That would mean that the Labour Party has had their majority cut significantly. I think it's about 20 seats now. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark.
Around 20 seats, yeah.
Yeah, I think 21 or so, which is going to be a huge blow for them, especially considering that they've not managed to get a lot of their policy points through, given how large that manifesto in King's Speech was. So yeah, Roger, do you think that this was an unavoidable situation? Are you saying that should Labour have been more cooperative with the Conservative Party, that there could have been a different resolution to these 1922 committee results?
Yes, absolutely. I think what happened as soon as word broke out that the 1922 and many Conservative MPs, especially on the front benches, wanted to leave the coalition, instead of Labour addressing the issues and concerns, some of them went on to attack Tory ministers and Tory MPs. So obviously this could have been avoidable, absolutely. I think if Labour, to begin with, did cooperate with the Conservatives by communicating with them, addressing their issues and concerns, it would have been a lot better. But I think the issue really is the Prime Minister herself and the leader of the Labour Party, Reba Astor. Reba has been disappearing for days, and if you want to work together between partners, you've got to have constant communication, so you know what's happening, what you need to do, what they need to do, so there can be no mistakes at all. This hasn't happened in this coalition, as we've seen and the public has seen. Reba has disappeared for days. I think this weekend she was supposed to release these GLA consultation forms and this other thing regarding the Greater London Assembly, but now she's saying that it's going to be released tomorrow, I think, or just it's something really vague about when it's going to be released. It's probably not even going to be released this weekend, but yeah, I think this could have been avoidable if Reba didn't care so much about being Prime Minister. I think Labour really could have made a success out of this coalition if someone like Scripted Sid was leading the Labour Party. But no, once again, we're going to see the Labour Party die out once again, which is really disappointing, because it's always been the Conservatives dominating Westminster, and there was really no real opposition. And now that we've got Reclaim, which is a right-wing party, which it doesn't really help scrutiny, but they've been scrutinising the government, and they've shown up in numbers. Their attendance is definitely not an issue, so they are an effective opposition, I would say. But the whole point is it's supposed to be like the Conservatives versus Labour. We've always had this two-party system, and now it's going to disappear once again because you've got leaders in Labour who just want to hold on to their careers and pretend that everything's normal.
Well, we were expecting this statement about 4 minutes ago. Do you think that this sort of shows that there might be a change of heart, possibly doubt within Conservative HQ right now about pulling out from this coalition? Maybe talks going on behind the scenes between Labour and the Conservatives. I mean, you mentioned the Greater London Authority and whatnot. We've seen now in the government channel that Reba's announced that GLA consultation will begin tomorrow. So could there be ground being made between the Conservatives and the Labour reaching a closer position, looking to reach a different outcome of this, possibly hold on to the coalition for a bit longer, or rather to the end of the term? Is that realistic, or do you think that it's pretty much set in stone now that the Conservatives are going to be withdrawing?
It would have been realistic if there was someone else leading the Labour Party, but no, because it's Reba, and since she doesn't exactly care about her party, as we've seen time and again, no, that isn't going to happen. I don't think there's a change of heart. So unless Marcus just decides to change his mind last minute, which isn't like him, and go against the people that have been telling him in the Conservatives, his MPs, his ministers, telling him to withdraw from the coalition, it's not like him to go against it. So no, I don't think there's been a change of heart. I believe the Conservatives will be leaving the coalition.
And what does this mean now for the future, especially for this term? Do you think that the Conservatives, obviously from your perspective, do you think that you're going to be looking to support a Labour minority government in the interest of not having another election? Sort of working constructively cross house, cross party, to ensure that they don't end up in a deadlock, or is this really just sort of the end of this term now, and can we expect another general election to be called quite soon?
Well, if I'm right in saying that the Conservatives aren't going to be leaving the coalition, obviously Reba definitely knows that the Conservatives are going to be leaving the coalition, and it seems like she believes that she can continue with a minority government. And you know what? It's not the first time that a government has governed with a very small minority. We saw it with David D. Rothschild when he was Prime Minister. The Conservatives and the Unionists merged, and I believe they got 20 seats together. And then it was them versus the Liberal Democrats and some other fourth party. But they managed to govern with just 20 seats out of 50. So yeah, it's possible, but we've seen Labour's attendance so far this term. It's poor. So I don't think they're going to be able to pass on much compared to the activity from the Conservatives and Reclaim.
So does that mean that the Conservatives would be sort of actively voting against Labour bills? Or would there be sort of a cross-party outreach to ensure that another general election doesn't happen?
I don't think the Conservatives are going to be obstructionists, but if there is a policy that they do not agree with, they will definitely vote it down. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be obstructionist. It's not like the Conservatives to be like that.
And what do you think the possibilities are? Obviously, we've seen Reclaim and the Progressives be quite active in Parliament this term. What do you think the chances of a new coalition forming midterm between Labour and Reclaim, or Labour and the Progressives, to ensure that they sort of have a bit more of an edge if they were to govern with a minority?
Repeat that?
Do you think that there's any chance that Labour would be able to form another coalition with a different party, or gain confidence from another party to ensure that they're able to sort of take the edge out of such a small minority government?
I don't think so. I think, for example, well, with Reclaim and Progressives, they now know that it's difficult to work with Reba Asta. So no, I don't think they're going to be forming a coalition. Any of them. I mean, Reclaim, they're 100% against Labour, and Progressives, they want to get rid of Labour. So I don't think they're going to be coalition with any other party.
Well, can we expect this statement to be released tonight, do you think? Or
Yes, we can. Marcus has gotten online. He was coming back from an event in real life. But yeah, we should be expecting it. He's probably just quickly going over it, make sure, spelling's correct, doesn't look like a Muppet. But yeah, it's definitely getting released tonight.
And for the sake of just GB News now, before we go to the J Factor shortly, are you able to confirm that this statement is the Conservatives withdrawing from the coalition agreement?
No, I can't confirm, but I will say that the chances of them withdrawing are super high. There's like a 0.0001% chance Marcus has just decided he's not going to withdraw.
All right, I think that deserves a breaking headline there. That the Conservatives are set to withdraw from the coalition with the Labour Party. So if you're just tuning in with us now, we've just heard live from the Deputy Prime Minister's chief advisor in almost certainty that the Conservative Party are going to be withdrawing from the coalition with the Labour Party. This puts the Labour Party at a 21-seat minority government. We have heard that there is a possibility that exceptions will be made to allow them to form a coalition with either the Progressives or the Reclaim Party midterm in the interest of preventing a third general election within the space of a month or so. But nothing is confirmed yet. But yeah, the breaking story is that the Conservatives are set to withdraw from the coalition with the Labour Party. So we'll hear a lot more about that now with Jay Chan, who's going to be taking over shortly as we go over to the J Factor. So make sure you don't go anywhere. And yeah, thank you for tuning in tonight for GB News at 9. The time is 9:41. I'm Andre Hodge. Good night.
That's enough of the messing around. We're back to normal.
Diamond line, lover boy. You move in space with minimum waste, maximum joy. City lights, business nights. When you require
classic tune, and it's by Duke, and it's called So In Love With You. I recently found it, and I fucking love it.
GB News J Factor. The Deputy Prime Minister have released a statement a few minutes ago. In the statement, it says, "In the light of recent events and developments, I have made the decision to withdraw from the Conservative Labour Grand Coalition. The decision to withdraw has been reached with careful consideration and has been deemed the best action by Cabinet, leadership and MPs. The coalition was formed in an attempt to restore stability and prevent constant hung parliaments with unstable coalition governments. But it achieved the opposite. We've seen riots and protests, mass inactivity, resignations and civil unrest, and the situation has escalated to a level which I have never thought it reached, which is why we cannot continue on. Communication is the backbone of any government, and unfortunately it has been sorely lacking. The Prime Minister is almost completely unreachable and sometimes can disappear for days on end. I cannot work with someone who I cannot contact or speak to on a regular basis, as effective communication is essential for effect decision making within the government, especially in situations we are in now." This is the Deputy Prime Minister's statement to Britons. It is now official that the Conservative and Unionist Party will withdraw from the Labour Grand Coalition, leaving Labour Party with only 21 seats in the House of Commons. There might be an arrangement of an early general election, or a coalition with Progressive or Reclaim being considered. However, the Conservatives are now gone, as they say they quit from the coalition. So let's see what happened this week. Just in this week, there are 6 Tory MP signing a petition against the coalition. The Home Secretary, Elfie, have resigned. Leader of the House of Commons and Lord President of the Council, Jimbo, have also resigned. The Minister of State of Policing, Elfie again, have also resigned. So this is a mass resignation being forced as government, being forced to the coalition as the government slowly seems to collapse. And now the 1922 Commission had passed to end the coalition, and apparently the leader of the Conservative Party have followed their decision. And it is just a few minutes ago, if you just joined in, the Conservative have left from the coalition. If we can see now from the reactions from within the party and in the public, it is, of course, most of them are celebrating the collapse of the coalition. It has been criticised that it is ineffective, or of course by the current ranges of civil unrest and riots, which we reported a few weeks ago. So we are now joined, I believe, by several of our guests. I'm not sure if they wish to talk now.
You're right, Jay.
Hello, Thomas. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Would you like to introduce yourself, Thomas?
Well, I'm currently the Shadow Home Secretary, soon to be the Home Secretary, because we claim we're going to win, and we're going to win big next election.
Which do you think is the correct decision for the Conservatives to end the coalition? Do you think it should have been done earlier, or it's just the right time that they do
The
that?
coalition shouldn't have happened in the first place. It was a grotesque overreach of the monarch. But I think that the damage done can be reversed still. We still have another 5 weeks left of the summer holidays. We can fix this.
Apparently, do you think a snap election would be likely to be called?
Yeah, and I don't think Reba will be there to fight it.
I see. So you expecting Reba Astor to resign as the Labour Party leader?
Yes.
I see. So do you think Marcus will stay as Conservative Party leader? Do you think they will there have been no news about him leaving or resigning? Do you think he will remain as Conservative Party leader?
He will remain because now he will claim that he had the moral high ground, that he was the one seeking a better Britain. No, he didn't. He sought to advance his career.
I see that's what you believe. Well, at the same time, from the many of the public, they have said the snap election might not have brought things into a better place. It might have brought it into a worse place for the two largest party, or even end the two-party system following the coalition. Do you believe Reclaim might actually become the second or the first largest party in the next general election?
I believe we'll be the first largest party, but I would never say that we weren't. The fact is, the prospect of Reclaim as the next alternative is a very, very valuable prospect. Cheers Braffer has already declared that he will retire. If Reba goes, Mason will retire. Scripted Sid will probably be the next Labour leader, but he isn't PM material.
So you believe there will be a Reclaim party in government?
Oh yeah.
And there will be so you have the confidence do you have a confidence as a party, or of course yes, you as a shadow Home Secretary, do you have the confidence that you can win it, or is that just let's say an advertisement or a slogan that you'll win? You actually have the confidence?
I'm confident that we will be in government. Whether it's a majority is another question.
I see. I mean, I believe we have a few other guests to show to express their ideas.
Preparing ever since the King's Speech passed. We've been working on the new manifesto. We knew it wasn't going to take long. For the past 2 weeks, Ray's has been working his little butt cheeks off to make a new manifesto. The cabinet, we're reviewing our policies, enhancing the policies from the last manifesto, and obviously there's still a monumental task ahead. There's a larger task ahead. Now we've got to try and negotiate with the Lords and the Dalhousie Committee. We need a strong government to steady the ship, and Reclaim will offer that.
I see, and your accept restoring stability. Would you say there are other types of policies that Reclaim will promise for the country?
Sorry, what's the question?
So, except the part that you are against, of course, the coalition, do you think Reclaim is electable or attractive to voters on the other levels, like foreign affairs or home affairs, things like that?
We've proven that we can make the right decisions. I mean, we've got a very competent cabinet. Any one of our ministers could go into any other position. That's how competent we are. We've already made sure that our foreign policy platform will be able to deliver upon the immediate crises presented to us in the FCDO, but also how we can create a long and sustainable plan for governments of the future.
I see. That's and what's your thoughts about the war in Mongolia as Reclaim Party? Do you think anything needs to change about the war and the intervention in Mongolia your Reclaim Party will promise?
It's one huge distraction. You know, the president is Scripted Sid. The chancellor, he's done it in order to divert the attention from the fact that the government is in ruin. I couldn't give a rat's ass about Mongolia. It's run by Karl Emil Mannerheim, who's been banned from this community and been exposed as a Roblox serial rapist.
Sorry, what?
Do you not know who Karl Emil Mannerheim is?
He got banned from the UN for groping someone.
For what?
For groping someone.
He groped Lynette.
How is that even possible to do it on Roblox?
Well, Callum Manaheim finds a way. He also claimed that. Oh, what did he claim?
Well, let's skip from this topic specifically. We are not a judge or something to say it. To report allegations, not about.
I think the evidence is pretty clear.
Yes, can you introduce yourself, Des?
Former Deputy Prime Minister, current Reclaim Shadow Justice Secretary, and Shadow Lord Chancellor.
Okay, another Reclaim. I see. Welcome to be here. Do you believe the Conservatives have made the correct decision by ending the coalition? Do you think it's wrong? Do you think it's too early? Do you think it's too late? Or do you think it should never have happened?
It's too late. They made the wrong decision when they started the coalition. They're just saving their own asses, really.
So you don't think the Conservatives have your belief to the Conservatives? I assume you were a Conservative. MP
No, I was voice, but
you were voice, but you were within the coalition was Conservative before. So, do you think Conservative had disappointed you in some sort of ways?
I mean, I don't think it's up to me to say that. I think they've disappointed their own electorate, really. I mean, you saw many unhappy people when the coalition was announced, and many have come out since then.
Have you changed your mind personally, as a person speaking? Have you changed your mind because of this statement that you do believe Conservative is a competent party?
I mean, it's not really for me to say if they're competent. I don't think they're competent. You know, they went into a coalition with Rebecca Astor of all people. So what does that say about the leader?
Amen.
So you still don't believe. So you believe that the Conservative statement is an action taken. It's the correct action, but taken too late. Is that correct?
I think it's far too late. They shouldn't have gone to the coalition in the first place. They had many other offers. Wait, did you hear that?
I see. I have just received a breaking news. Actually, it's from you. You sent me a few minutes ago on DMs. It says, the vote of no confidence is soon to be tabled against the Prime Minister Rebecca Astor. I assume it will be joined by Conservative, Reclaim, and other parties as well. Do you believe is this confirmed? Is it confirmed news?
I mean, I certainly tabled one.
Is it a vote of no confidence in the Labour Party or the Parliament?
In the Parliament.
In the Parliament. So is it fully confirmed by the party leaders?
Well, I mean, I personally, alongside Itz Tozer, tabled the vote of no confidence in the Parliament.
Oh, you will be tabling it. Okay, I see. Have you coordinated with the Conservatives and the Progressive?
No, but, however, if they truly believe that coalition was untenable, they will not keep Rebecca Astor as PM.
I see. Thank you very much. And let's jump to the next. For example, let's say, would Reclaim, providing we have two Reclaim Shadow Cabinet here, sorry. Would Reclaim claim possibly form a government with Labour? I probably assume the answer is no.
No.
But just you need to speak from your mouth. No.
I'd rather
shoot myself.
Okay. This is not surprising at all. Just need to coming from your mouth. So you do believe a snap election is very likely, providing Conservative is no longer with coalition with Labour.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That's from your mouth. Okay. Because I need to be very confirmed. So you'll be tabling a vote of no confidence.
Well, it's already been tabled right now. The speakers confirmed it to me.
And when's it arranged?
They don't have the confidence of the majority of the House. They are
the Speaker is releasing a statement in 5 minutes on it.
Oh, I'll be reading out the statement, indeed, of course, and very quickly I would check.
There is one person that we can blame the soul on, though. Really, Robert. So I think we can blame the monarch, and we can also blame Sangoose, because I enjoy blaming Sangoose.
Many call him Sanguis the Jerker, but
So let's jump to the topic of the next general election, which will be, according to you, being held very, very quickly, providing Labour have no possible, providing Labour is facing a motion of no confidence, which is likely to be passed against them. Do you think the next general election would be a wipeout for the major party and completely change the
it's going to
democracy?
be like a Tony Blair landslide, my friend.
But no, it's not for Labour. What's the difference between 1997 and what we're having now? Is 1997 we have Labour and Conservative. Labour is just have a new leader with a brand new ideology, storming the politics of UK. But you are a brand new party. Reclaim now. In real life, only have one MP.
Look at our cabinet.
So that's something very special is going on here. It's not Labour or Conservative suddenly having a new leader and became very popular or charismatic. The situation is a brand new, very new party with less than a month of history. For the after the registration, we registered within a month, I believe, or a little bit more than that. Suddenly, being expected very high to even becoming the largest party in government. Do you think this is likely to happen? Do you think it will be a wipeout for the large party?
I
Labour
think
and Conservative?
sorry to interrupt, but we've got the most experienced cabinet in all, like out of any party really. We've got the best cabinet. We've got former prime ministers. I mean, look at our cabinet. Our deputy leaders, Ben Henley. We've got Thomas, Shadow Home Secretary. I mean, we've got William. It's mad.
So people would tend to vote for you as, let's say, quite a small party or very new party because you have a very.
The problem is the only foreseeable problem that I can see is the fact that the Conservatives have gotten when me and Ben and Mark were leading the campaigns, we got to 600 members in that base. Their electoral success is a legacy of Mark, mine, and Ben's electoral strategy of getting as many people in the server. Their base is still strong. If that is going to be most likely the biggest roadblock, is the fact that they've got the real life reputation and they've got the largest block. So unless something dramatic happens, we won't see an entire wipeout, but we will see a major hit.
So
you do believe there will be a major hit to the two largest party in the next GE. So you do believe Reclaim would be a rising star of politics, or we would argue already that it is. But in the next general election, we'll see it reflecting on the seat numbers, maybe become the second or even the first largest.
So Jay, what do you think of IRL parties in our politics? I think it's a terribly unfair advantage.
Reclaim is IRL party.
Yeah,
we know it's the real life party, but that's what we've got to do to compete.
Yeah, quite literally.
So you're against the idea of a real life party, but you use the US party logo.
Well, it's not the official party stance, but
yeah, it's just my bet.
Some members are quite strong in the fact that we are against.
Personally, me speaking, I'm quite supportive of real life parties.
Personally speaking, I'm against real life parties.
Why?
Because it gives an unfair advantage.
But all parties can choose to become a real life party without any.
I mean, quite literally, you can't get the same level of advantages like you have Labour or Conservatives.
You don't get the same branding materials. You don't get the same.
Oh, I see. If you say, I'm having a new party now, But seemingly I have to use, let's say, a niche real-life party like the Greens, and people have already lost a bunch of voters.
For example, for you, when you first came here, you thought, the Roblox Tories, so I'll go vote for them. You don't get that with Reclaim or any other, like, the Progressives and all that.
I see what you're coming on here. But people will also argue real life party make the UK more real, more playable. So
but then you've got nations like Malaysia that have banned real life parties. We're not looking for an out.
Malaysia have a different condition, don't they? Malaysia basically,
but it's still parliament.
Parties
There's still parliamentary parties. So in essence, the quintessential ideology and thesis behind our stance on real life parties.
Our real life politics is completely different from Malaysia.
But it's
Malaysia have a politics of
you're not
groups,
right.
Ethnic groups between ethnic groups forming their own party.
Not on Roblox. Not on Roblox, Jay.
Not on Roblox, but that's in real life. So they have the reason to ban it, but we don't. We don't have a black versus white party.
Jay,
yes.
Talking about Roblox Malaysia. This is a Roblox show. I don't know how many times I've told you. This is a Roblox show. We talk about Roblox politics and row nations. Malaysia, as a row nation, do not allow real life parties.
They have a good reason to do so. That's what I'm arguing about. They have a good reason to do so because our real life parties in Malaysia symbolizes the division of different ethnic groups. In the UK, it doesn't. So it doesn't need to be banned.
Yeah, but I think what Thomas is trying to say, they still have like a branding advantage.
To make it more real. That's the advantage of it.
Yeah, but
why does it need to be more real? The fact of the matter is, we're on Roblox to get away from the reality. I've been in the Conservative Party for the majority of my time here. I can understand that it gave us a huge advantage. Mason, if you've got something to contribute, just say it. Don't worry.
Well,
I wanted to add something that Thomas said. I think that also real life parties sort of encourage real life ideologies that don't apply to Roblox. And I think that because of that, there's a lack of sort of cooperation. And you've seen with the Conservative and Labour Grand Coalition, I think that people had against opinions already because of real life opposing views. If we had on Roblox, there'd be a lot more cooperation and actual work to get things done, as opposed to worrying about Roblox ideologies.
Now, to my extent, I think that we should ban all sitting UK parties. I don't think that we should ban general parties like the Liberal Party, like the Green Party, because those
I agree.
Those are general parties.
Well, Green is a sitting party, but yeah, I agree.
I don't think that we should ban foreign parties either. So parties like National Rally, the National Party of New Zealand, or the Workers' Party. There obviously needs to be some leeway, and there obviously will be political ideology in a political role play. But
to what extent do you think is acceptable? So we have the Conservative and we have the Labour. A lot of countries have Conservative and Labour. Wouldn't they just simply be the same thing? Or let's say if the Liberal Party will still have a lot of advantage, even if they are not existing, because it's a very straightforward name and it's heard by many times.
I mean,
it used to be the governing party of Australia, and currently
that's understood. But then there isn't any leeway to create any party. You'd have to just name it something random, like the Westbridge Party or something crap like that. There needs to obviously be some inspiration, but there shouldn't be direct replication. That's the problem. We're seeing a direct replication of real life parties.
If that doesn't work, if no party should duplicate a real life party, wouldn't that just make the entire UK fictional? So make it looks like some setting in a novel.
We are on Roblox, and we've had Voice, which is a completely made up party.
We had the Imperial Party as well.
It can work. It just needs to be a blanket. I was originally opposed to it, but the fact that the Conservatives gained. Did they gain seats last election, or they just lost the one? Showed that they had a strong voting bloc, and that people were voting because of their hatred for Labour in real life. And I mean, who can blame them? But at the end of the day, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be inspiration from real life. You know, I'm not opposed.
I quite want to address your point of saying
I
people
completely
will
agree.
vote
I
for
completely agree,
parties.
Thomas.
Sorry, but it's simply untrue, because I believe last year, during when the Conservative polling nationally in real life tanked, we still have a Conservative government, and we had a Conservative government since Reba Nishley came in.
Yes, but that was
Came in.
because
So,
of.
so I
yeah, but that
don't
was-
think
yeah,
people
but that
are,
was-
especially
during-
young people at our group, we are never Conservative voters, but we also
There's quite a lot
still
of
vote Conservative in the
people in
Roblox
this
game.
group, though.
Now, that's where I disagree. I personally believe that there are more people on the left in this group than there are people on the right.
That's
However, I don't think it's complete rubbish. I think maybe you think there are a lot of Conservatives in the group because I'm quite an outspoken one. However, we need to get back at the topic. That was my original stance. I was for real life parties, originally when the policy was waved around, because I looked at the Conservatives polling and I go, well, obviously the Conservatives aren't at an advantage. It's Labour that are at an advantage. And it was JJ Cunningham that raised it up originally. However, the fact that they've got an advantage at all is a problem.
So you're against, but it's seemingly the advantage isn't shown by the actual numbers of MPs
But it is
elected
because you
in
look
Roblox.
you look at the campaign of the Conservative Party. Their manifesto was written by AI. They've got one of the worst cabinets I've ever seen. The debate performances were shambolic. The Deputy Prime Minister was nowhere to be seen during the campaign, and they still got 21 seats. Andre Hodge brought in people after people. He brought in nearly 100 people or something ridiculous. I think it was 70 people, and he still couldn't topple the massive Tory bloc because of the branding of the Tories and because of the legacy of Ben's and Mark's campaigning strategy to get as many people in the server, which is why, as well as banning in real life parties, the direct replications of real life parties, I also believe that we should. It was more than 100, Andres told me. We need to make sure that there is a mandatory new Discord server for every single party.
That is very controversial thing.
I don't think it is a very controversial thing.
However, would
a lot of people support that?
Would I be able to address it? Because I don't think.
Hang on, I don't want to interrupt, but I think the speaker just released a statement.
Yes, he had. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now watching GB News J Factor. This is breaking news. The Speaker of the House of Commons have just released a statement. It says the following. Tonight, I have been notified by the Right Honourable Member of Parliament for Devon to schedule a vote on a motion of no confidence in His Majesty's government, with the Right Honourable the Member of Parliament for West Mercia, was my seat, seconding the motion. In accordance to the General Elections Act 2019, the voting of the motion will take place on Friday, 4th August, which is the coming Friday. And for the motion to be successful, it must be supported by at least 2/3 or be supported by 40 members of the House of Commons. In the event that the motion of no confidence in His Majesty's government passes the House, Parliament would automatically be calling a general election. The House of Commons may, in accordance to the General Election Act, include a date for the GE in the motion. However, His Majesty the King reserves the right to disallow any election motioned by Parliament and reserve the right to set the election date as he sees fit. The motion of no confidence will not be heard if Parliament is dissolved before Parliament votes on the motion. God save the King. It was an official document released by the Speaker of the House of Commons. If you just came in, this is J Factor on GB News. Good evening. And this is a statement released by the Speaker of the House of Commons that a motion of no confidence will be voted on the coming Friday this week. So what do you think about it? Wait, sorry, who was the one who said he
I think we've got
tabled
an
it?
ad break. I think we've got an ad break, Jay.
Of course, we have an ad break. Okay, so which part am I?
Very short ad break.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm working home. Hey, oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. You're now back on GB News J Factor, and this is the breaking news a few minutes ago that happened. It is the Speaker of the House of Commons announcing a statement that a motion of no confidence would be held this Friday, 4th of August. It is tabled by Member of Parliament for Devon and seconded by Member of Parliament of West Mercia. Both reclaim, as I assume. So we have the person who tabled the motion of no confidence, Adapter Frost. Would you like to have a word?
I mean, you know, it was going to happen anyway, so might as well be.
Can I please remind the person to not dance in my studio?
Mate, please sit down.
You know what? Everyone dance in the studio. I'm going to dance anyway. Okay. How do I dance? Okay. /E.
You're having a party of the.
Okay, here we go.
confidence.
Wait, no, I sat down. /E dance. Wait, no, how does that work? /E dance.
Well, he's got a man doing the floss on the table right there.
When does the ad break end?
The thing is with
It's not on me.
I have no idea how to dance.
Oh, not Cillian.
/E dance.
But I can't.
/E space.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I
it's
sat
just
down.
like that again, man.
Okay, here we go. We are now dancing in the studio, everyone. So, Adapter Frost, what is your thought when you table this motion? Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think the knife is officially stabbing, is officially on the head of who was the Prime Minister again? Of Reblaster?
I mean, listen, if any Labour MPs are watching this, I mean, I think it's clear what they have to do, really. If they want to keep Reba in as PM, they can go ahead, but we've all seen how that's went so far, really. So
you're calling Labour MPs to get Reba down?
Oh yeah,
it's not the first time they will have broken a whip.
So, do you think it's likely? Are there any Labour MPs on the stage now? Cillian, are you Labour?
We've got.
I mean,
we've
I
got
am
Mason.
a Labour minister.
You are now.
I always have been.
Not for long.
Okay, Slay. Okay, what do you
Right.
think, Mason? Do you think Reba should go?
No, of course I don't. No, I don't.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
you-
though,
you
you
still
thought
have
she
Why
full
not?
should
confidence
go?
It's been
in
shit.
Reba.
I don't think that's the right decision. I think
No,
it,
Do you
this
think
could-
she would be leading the Labour Party to another GE?
I'm not sure about that one because
Okay,
I
but you
don't-
personally won't be the one.
don't-
Right, see,
I
so
able
you
her down.
don't think that she should go, but you also don't know if she's going to stay.
Yeah,
don't
that's
know
what
if
confused me.
I don't know. If
So
she's
why
still-
do you back? Why do you?
Can I
back Reba?
finish? Can I finish?
Yeah,
Well,
let
no,
her
because I've
finish.
already understood.
Let him
what you're
finish.
saying.
Let him
Why
finish.
Why do you back Reba?
Thomas,
I'm
let
not.
him
I'm
finish.
not going to answer your question. I'm going to answer Jay's question.
Okay,
and
Slay.
to-
Okay. Yes. So, do you? Okay. So, what then are you? Do you have full confidence in Reba, or do you have no confidence in her?
Full.
Reba, confident
Full
or no
confidence.
confidence?
Full confidence.
Full confidence. So you do
Yes.
believe she will be leading the
Are you
Labour Party
blind
to the
then?
next
Well, I
year?
don't know if she will, but I think she
Okay,
should.
so factually
But-
you don't know, but you want
No,
her to be.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
that's
you
right.
want her to be. Why?
Because I think she's the right person for the job, and I always have done.
And do you think the coalition government have proved that? Do you think of course, the largely criticised failed King's Speech have done that? Have proved
Well-
her to be a good PM?
I don't think we've had a long time, and I think that there's been other circumstances that have clearly
Well,
been around, and I don't think that Labour are the only ones responsible for this mess. I think the Conservatives are just as responsible as well.
But the
And-
Conservative left the coalition, which means so. As a Labour minister, sorry. Do you think the
It's just-
Conservative? Do you want to blame the Conservative for the coalition? Do you believe the coalition was a mess in the first place?
There were issues. I believe there were issues.
and who caused those issues?
And yes, and do you believe it's the Conservative fault or the Labour's fault to cause this issue,
I
or do
don't
you think
think
50-50?
I don't think I can pin a blame on one particular person or institution.
I
But I
can.
think- Well,
Reba or Straw, maybe. Number one.
I'm glad you can, but I look at it in a different approach because I've actually been in it, and there's been some departments that have been really, really good, like mine, the Home Office. But then there are others that perhaps
Wait,
not
you're
done as well.
you're the new one replacing Elfie, right?
No. So Louis is currently the Justice Secretary, but I think because the coalition is sort of broken apart, I think I might end up being Justice Secretary, which
I see.
is
So,
alright.
wait, so you were the Home Secretary all the time.
No, I wasn't. No, what? No.
But he's in the Lords though. Shouldn't the secretary
There's
be
a mess
answerable
of
to the House?
who's the minister now. We're guessing who's the minister because there's a law of
Right.
vaccination going on.
Well, yes, because there's a party that's gone out of government, so of course there's going to be loads of vacancies. I've been Justice Minister, but I may be promoted to Secretary of State.
That
if that
should, it
happens.
would be wrong though. You should be answerable to the House.
But
We
Mason,
have-
would you still believe that Reba Astor would be a good leader of yours if she were to get down? Unfortunately, according to you, of course, if she were to be voted down, do you think the Labour Party is still electable with the new leader? Who do you think will be the new leader?
I don't. Well, first of all, I don't think the motion of no confidence will pass because it needs a
At all,
2/3.
okay.
Because it needs a 2/3.
I mean,
majority.
Mason, the Labour Party only has 22 seats, and on average, it's one of the lowest attending. So, if you take that into account, it's highly probable that it will actually pass.
It might do. It might.
It's not might. It's highly probable. It's much
I
more
am very
probable that
tired
it will
at
pass
casting now. I have to
than
Yeah, but look-
failing.
I'll make
Mason,
it
can we
circle.
also just clarify that Labour was the same party that allowed
Right,
for one of your department's legislation to be failed by a 14-seat opposition? How embarrassing!
And then
is that?
he re-proposed it in the Lords as well.
I mean,
So, you know,
what is going on with the music? Oh, here we go.
it's
do you think-
naivety
do
to
you
think
still
that you
believe
guys
that
did
Reba?
not
No,
plan.
that's the question. Do you
How?
still believe Reba Astor will remain as Prime Minister when the next G is held? If she were to be get down by her own party, who do you think will be the successor of Reba Astor?
I I don't know what I'll be doing after, Reba, so I don't know if I'll be campaigning for any particular leader or whatever that is. But
Would you
I think-
campaign as leader? if
Can I
Reba
finish?
resigned?
Can I finish? Because
Okay,
I
sure.
think
He struggles to comprehend more than one question.
I think that because I want to answer one, then I'll answer the other. But I think that Sid would be a really good leader for our party. But I'm not.
He was deputy speaker.
Okay, he can resign as deputy
Right,
speaker.
Jay.
No, he was.
I've got
he
some
was.
breaking news. I've got some
Yes.
breaking news
Yes, thank you, Andrew.
from a source that does not want to be disclosed.
Okay.
A Labour split-off party is going to be formed imminently.
Oh my
Again.
goodness.
We
gracious.
have a source, someone who was a. Well, actually, I can't even because that will give it away.
I think I know what party
This
it is.
is
Okay, is that a
all but
confirmed source
confirmed.
from an
This
official?
is-
Is it higher up official?
It is
it higher up?
definitely. I can assure you that this is a source that I would trust. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, let me guess,
you
is it
would trust-
Barrett?
Okay, I'm not
It's
sure if
gonna
I
be
should trust the
Barron
source,
from the
but
Pirate Party.
this is GB News, J Factor. Audiences, good evening. I just got a source, which Andrew Hodge said is trustable, to say that Labour Party would have a split up party being formed soon. I am now expecting an announcement to be given from any source of media who probably also received this news as well. So, if this were to be real, what do you think about it?
Oh, it'll
Mason.
just end up like every other Labour split-off party. It'll
Yeah.
just merge back to Reba when Reba comes back
I think
begging.
whoever this member of parliament is who is intending to form a party split off from Labour, they obviously lack guts because they're unwilling to defend the branding that got us into this grand coalition. And
Well,
it's
he's
very
going to
obvious.
be Barron. He's not in Parliament now.
To be honest, I'm not gonna
Can
try-
you guys? I mean, we have suddenly have a lot of new guests and call-ins here. So, Cillian, can you introduce yourself first to the
Oh, yeah.
audiences?
Cillian,
I didn't introduce myself.
Yeah, poor
Oh, yeah,
Mason.
you need to do as well. I'll arrange
everyone
that.
knows who you are, Mason. Don't worry.
No one knows who I am.
Neither
You're
do I.
right.
Okay,
I
just
have
just
forgot
get
who
on
you
with
are
it,
already.
please. Get on
I
with
actually
it.
forgot who you are already.
I'm
Guys,
Cillian,
let's
avid
see what you,
watcher of Jay
Cillian.
Chan, by the way. Avid watcher of Jay Chan, member of the Reclaim Party, and hater of Reba Astor, unfortunately. But I think genuinely, whatever member of parliament it is, whether it be Barron or another MP, likely to be Barron, of course, they lack integrity because they're not going to stick with the Labour branding and they're not going to try and defend the record that they obviously have held in government and in Parliament. And it's an obvious escape, by the way, from their failures. I think it's just overall it's going to be a failed project from beginning to end. You know, I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
Absolutely right.
So you believe that you're not optimistic about a Labour split-up
No,
party
I
to
don't
go
think
any way
so.
further?
I don't think anyone
Jay,
should be.
as the political editor for GB News, I'm also bringing in some breaking news.
Thank you
One
very
of
much,
the
DNC Mark.
one of the Labour MPs has said that they will be voting for the no confidence motion in both her leadership and government.
Oh,
is
and
crazy.
who's the Labour MP?
We cannot disclose the Labour MP
Like
as
the
of this
NUP.
Okay,
moment.
that's cool. That's cool.
Why
Okay.
can't you
So,
disclose it when the vote's
this
gonna
is
be
a
public
list,
anyway?
ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. That you are here at GB News J Factor. We have another breaking news from DNC Mark, political editor of GB News. He just announced it. I'm going to announce it again. Okay. So, a Labour member of Parliament have disclosed to GB News, we cannot say who he or she or they is, that they will be voting for a motion of no confidence against the Reba Astor's government. So,
And look,
what happened today? So this is what happened today, guys.
Oh,
The
thanks.
1922 committee
You really
have
enjoy the
passed a motion to end the coalition, calling to the leader of the Conservative Party. And now the Home Secretary resigned, leader of the House of Commons and the Lord President of the Council resigned,
The Home
Minister of
Secretary
Security
resigned.
resigned, 6 Tory MP signed a petition against the coalition, and now the Deputy Prime Minister has dropped out of the coalition. So it is now Labour left with 21 seats. We just have a breaking
22.
news as well, with a few minutes ago, that that a Labour Party would have a split-up party, and as well, one Labour member of Parliament will say they are voting against their own government. So
It's
what do you
Barron,
think? Let's
Barron
continue
down.
with your what you say on the split-up party, Cillian, and then we go pass on the next topic.
yeah. Well, look, I genuinely have no optimism for the project like that. Like, I understand I have my differences with Labour, and of course the Conservative Grand Coalition was doomed from the beginning. But I think it shows an even further lack of integrity. I mean, it's really reductive to go ahead and form some sort of, off-branch party to try and escape from your failures. I mean, you should either stand there and take it, or resign. I don't understand why these politicians are trying to keep their jobs by changing up their branding. It's not going to work. The electorate won't be fooled. I'm certainly not. So I'm not sure why they're trying to do something like that.
And what do you believe,
We've
Mason?
actually-
Are you optimal about the coalition? You know what? Let's start with introducing yourself first, because I haven't arranged your self-introduction.
Right.
Me?
Well,
Oh, no, okay.
Wait,
Yeah,
we
no,
have
I
Mason have
actually
introduced
Hey, Chan,
yourself.
we've actually got an exclusive from
Again?
Reclaim Party headquarters.
Oh, good lord.
William Marina has got
Okay.
a slight confirmation
Yeah,
that
I've
it
got this
could
as well.
possibly be Barend Vanaham, or whatever his
Yeah.
surname is.
We
as
can confirm
the
that. We
split
can
of MP.
confirm that at GB News. We can confirm
Okay, so
that.
what's
We've
the-
got
what's the
sources
news
coming in as well.
confirmed?
So he will
Wow,
be
his second
creating.
party in a row.
He'll be creating the Socialist Party. This is why we shouldn't allow Americans anywhere near political system apart from William Marina.
Something interesting to mention here is that the Socialist Party was formed last election and merged back into the Labour Party. Afterwards,
So
the
is
EC.
there's two split-up party from Labour, one unconfirmed and one Socialist Party, or the
No,
one
no,
split-up?
It's
called
only
Socialist
one.
Party?
It's only one at the moment, which is the Socialist Party. It's split up
Okay, that
before.
would be the Socialist Party.
Yeah,
So it would be a-
so this is the second time that Barend is splitting up from the Labour Party, but the EC did ban any mergers going forward between any two parties. So
Okay,
Barend,
this is
Yeah,
GB
Darren
News
came
J
up-
Factor, ladies and
We've
gentlemen.
just
Good evening. Let's. I just received the news again, yet again. There's three.
You don't need to repeat it.
Wait, let him
It'll
cook.
take-
Well,
it'll take
let me
your
do my
time.
job. I'm the host. I am
Can we move
the
this
host.
forward?
I'm your
Rather than
producer,
just like
mate.
creating
I'm
a
not
row.
moving
Then
forward.
I'm going to be
I'm
muting
the
everyone who talks over Jay because this is a show, yeah.
Today. Okay, guys, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching GB News on J Factor. It is announced that and confirmed very much by GB News political editor that a split-up party from the Labour Party would be called the Socialist Party. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, as I'm asked to introduce a guest called former Conservative Prime Minister Billy Boy 19, who just joined. Yes.
No way.
This isn't
Whoa.
real. Chad, is this real?
Hello, Benny Boy.
Morning, Jay-chan. Morning. How are you doing today, Jay?
What's your where are you from? What's your accent is very special.
My accent, I am from Bradistan.
No way you're from Bradistan. I can't believe it.
Right,
Okay.
anyways, let's get on with this. I am the best
Okay.
Tory Prime Minister to have ever
So true.
graced
So true.
the
true.
earth. I am your father, firstly.
What?
Second of all, I have
What?
to tell you that I have to offer my opinion on this coalition. And I'm gonna
Sorry. Did he just say he's my father?
Yeah.
silence yourself. I have to offer my opinion on this coalition because it is the most farcical thing I have ever seen. It is blasphemy. It is a disgrace. It puts to dirt the amazing institution that the United Kingdom once was. Who the hell is Reba Astor? She should resign. She has lost 7 to 8 elections. Why is she still running? Why? This is absolutely disgraceful. Look at the state of politics. You have the most inept politician in the history of politics running again and again, and the public are still backing her. Maybe the public are the stupid ones. Maybe. Anyways, sorry.
Wow. Okay, that was a very strong statement coming from a former Conservative Prime Minister.
Oh yeah.
Do
Secondly,
you think it's the correct decision for the Deputy Prime Minister to drop out of the coalition? Do you think he done it too late?
right, you know what? He's dropped out coalition. He should drop out of government as well. Not government. He should drop out party as well. He should resign.
Oh,
be honest.
that is one Conservative former PM calling
He should
the current
resign.
Conservative leader to resign. That is like
Listen, Jay.
that is
Billy,
a
Jay,
very
just a bit
very
sidetracked.
breaking news.
Right.
Just a bit of a sidetrack.
Yes, sir.
Do you ever regret being born in West Yorkshire and go, wow, I would really like to be born in North Yorkshire like I am?
No, to be
Sure.
fair, I was actually born in London. Anyways, getting back to the point.
Oh my
Now
God.
the problem is that, you know, as a Tory Prime Minister, right? I formed a government with the Labour Prime Minister.
Oh
And
yeah, you did.
I won't lie to you. I was power hungry. I wanted to be Prime Minister. I'll tell you that straight up. I did not give a damn about political affairs in the United Kingdom. I just wanted the title of Prime Minister. And thankfully, the coalition, it wasn't too bad.
It was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. We did
Wouldn't
quite well.
wouldn't have
In
been as good
terms
as the
of
one that
Rita
could have
Aston,
preceded it.
she's quite the same. She's
Sorry, Andre.
power hungry, right? She wants to be Prime Minister. The only difference between me and her, and you know, me and Dean, was that we were actually able to rule the country, whereas Reba Astor, no offense to her, she's inept. She cannot make
Why are
basic
there shaking?
decisions.
Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh my
Is there a
goodness.
shaking
Not
sound
again.
from the
Can you
mic?
please just let someone finish?
Okay, I'm just letting him finish, of course,
Jay,
and let everyone finish.
I heard that shaking
please
sound as well,
tell
Jake.
your mother to stop walking
Yes,
around the room.
who is using a vibrator now? Please
No,
do not use a
you
vibrator
need to
on my
you need to
show. Thank you very
Jay,
much.
Jay, you need to tell your mother to stop walking around the room, right? Anyways, getting back to my
Whoa!
point. Reba
Okay,
Astor,
okay,
Reba
okay.
Astor, Reba Astor,
I know this
That
microphone
is
is sound
completely
used.
unacceptable.
stop. Reba Astor is inept, right? The deputy prime minister is inept. He should resign. Forget, you know, ruling a party again. Like, you can't even freaking stay in government. You know what I'm trying to say?
I do understand what you're trying to say, Yorkshire man. So we just now have the former Conservative Prime Minister calling the coalition a disgrace and calling for the Conservatives to resign. So do you believe? To the wider guests, do you believe it marks the end of the two-party system? Because we have Labour Party of one group trying to split it out, and of course facing a massive backlash from the Parliament, and we have Conservative former PM calling the current Conservative leader to resign. Do you believe it is the end, the destruction of the two-party system? Guys?
What the freak? What a silly question. No, of course not.
Is that a no from you?
I don't think we necessarily have a two-party system like we do in real life. And I think there is a possibility, a very strong possibility in my opinion, that Reclaim could surge. There is a possibility of that. And
You say that's a Labour minister?
I say that as my personal opinion. That there's a possibility that Reclaim could surge. There's nothing stopping them from doing so. I don't think it's not
That
the
would
same
be
as it's not the same as real life. We
Yeah.
have first past the post.
I'm
And
not sure there is a two-party system in the United Kingdom at the moment.
Well, I think
It's not-
last election was
No,
certainly
but it's still two largest party
Oh, yeah,
existing.
no,
They
it's
just
very
don't
Yeah,
win
yes,
a
but
majority, really.
we haven't historically had the same two parties being the largest, unlike in real life.
Pretty binary at the moment.
Like when I first joined the group, it was Imperials and Liberal Democrats.
What the freak? Not Imperial Fashos. I can't believe it.
Imperials now, I believe they shift from South UK to another one.
When
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Jay,
I think
you're
I think it got copied.
You're
I think it
absolutely
might have gotten
incorrect.
copied.
Yeah, true. Okay, I was now told by the host that the image being shown on the screen, as I wish to ask the political editor, what does it mean?
So this is supposed to be the upcoming party split off from Labour. It's being run by Barend.
It's called the Pirates.
It's based on a real life party. It's a European party usually. They exist in
Yes,
almost
I'm
every
aware.
European state. I mean, Barend is a bit of a character himself, so
Beloved.
he has an obsession with European politics. So you can see that reflected in the party as well.
Certainly, yeah.
They already got all the graphics done. How quick are they? Like
I
they
should
should be
say that-
running.
You can probably guess since the merger happened a couple of weeks ago. Barend hasn't actually been in the Labour spotlight, so he's probably been working on something like that in the
Certainly.
background.
I'd
Lord.
really appreciate if the EC got their finger out of the backside and decided not to register his party after merging.
Guys,
last
guys,
time.
I mean, to
guys,
defend
who will
to
survive?
defend the EC
Wait.
to defend the EC here, Cengiz does exactly what he's supposed to do legally, and nothing beyond that. Like if they do get the membership, he's probably gonna register them.
But they can
But the
deny it
Pirate
if
Party.
they believe.
So it will
they-
not be a socialist
don't,
party. It will be a pirate
because
party.
they
Or is
denied
that too?
He
denied
doesn't
too split
he
up now?
doesn't possess the power to do that himself.
Well,
Sorry,
he did.
political editor.
He deregistered. He didn't allow the registration of the Hira Party. I don't remember if you remember that. They met the requirement. but they
That's
weren't
that's much more likely to be a group staff decision, not necessarily
sorry,
an
DNC
electoral
Mark,
commission one.
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Can I ask? Is that a
Okay.
second split from the Labour Party, or is the one split from the Labour Party?
No, this is the only one. This is the only one. It's
The-
the same
it was-
person who's
It
the
is
same
supposed to
person
be called
who.
the Socialist
It's
Party.
the
Have they
second
changed their
split
mind?
in 3 months or something. It's the
Okay,
second split in 2 months.
It's the same person who split off before from the Labour Party, creating another split off. So he merged back into the Labour Party, and now he's splitting off again.
Wait, I'm confused. So the Labour split off. There are two split off or one split off.
Okay, so originally, about a month ago, he split off using the Socialist Party. Then he merged back into the Labour Party. Now they became, a unified party. And then now
Okay.
he's splitting off again. So it's
So
just
he's splitting
one
off
split
again.
off.
So that's
Yeah.
the only one. So it's
Yeah.
not calling it socialist and again,
Yeah.
but he's calling it pirate party.
Exactly.
Do you
yeah.
believe it is
And there
going
is
to
also-
happen?
There is also the reality that they don't get registered because Sangus has made it quite clear that he would rather it be a 4-party.
Illegal.
It's not illegal.
That was
Illegal.
Mike Keane, by the way. That was
Again,
illegal.
the whole decision doesn't come down to the Electoral Commission. It's he legally has to register them.
Wow.
So just to clarify, right? There's going to be a vote of no confidence.
Yes, it will
Yes,
be
Walter White.
no confidence.
If
Fine.
Reba, actually, you know what, Kiana, I'll do the voice in a bit. Anyways,
Please do.
if Reba loses the election, not the election, the vote of no confidence, is she going to remain on as Labour leader, or is she going to resign?
Who
I'm
you
not
asking?
sure. I'm not. That's not my. Well, Mason, do you want to answer that?
I can't, to be blunt. I don't know what she'll do.
What
She's
do
finished.
what do you guys think? Should she resign?
Well,
Yeah.
what do you
Yeah.
guys think, retain people?
Certainly, yeah.
Mason doesn't think.
Well, no, it's a
Miss-
difficult one because we
Mason,
haven't.
Mason.
No, I
Cross
left
that
it as
bridge.
Mason doesn't think. I didn't
As
mean
a-
anything else.
Thanks.
Mason,
thanks.
Mason.
Yes.
As a pioneer at this point in British politics, as an individual of integrity, an individual who knows what is right and what isn't, are you going to let an inept leader who has failed to bring your party victory for many elections continue on? Are you really that sort of politician?
I will make sure.
Yeah, he is.
I will make sure my position in Labour that Labour is in the best possible position for the next election.
So you're ready to bootlick the leader if it means
I'm ready to do what's right, and if
So you're
You've done that
ready-
the whole
you're
election.
ready
if
to
if what
bootlick-
is right is that we have a new leader,
Right.
then that's what's right. If it's right that she stays, then that's what's right.
Hold on.
It's a collective
Breaking
decision.
news.
Now what,
Breaking news.
Again.
Breaking news.
Never
Both
crossed-
of you.
never
Both of you
came
quiet.
across
Both of
as
you
a
quiet.
bootlicker to me.
Okay.
Now,
Breaking
what-
Both of you
news
quiet.
from
Both of you
Andrew
quiet.
Hodge.
Breaking
We have
news.
breaking news. Breaking news. And this is from an extremely credible source from within the Labour Party. An undisclosed group of Labour cabinet ministers have been working with a group of Tory and Reclaim dissidents and are likely to form a new party. This is not the same party that we discussed earlier. This is not Barron's party. So I'll repeat that quote
Wagwan.
exactly.
Oh my god.
Again.
Okay, I will repeat the
An
quote again.
undisclosed
So there are
group of
two split
Labour
up from the
cabinet
Labour Party
ministers.
now.
I know.
Okay.
I know
An
exactly.
incredible. Good evening.
Oh my god.
This is
gracious.
BB News on J Factor. We have just got confirmed information from a credible source from Andrew Hodge that the Labour Party will have a second, second split up party. The
Yeah, we heard
first
him
one will be the
we heard him
Pirate
the first
Party
time.
by the Socialist Party, former Socialist Party leader, and
Okay,
the second
so-
one will be called will be a new party formed by Labour cabinet ministers, some Tories, and former Reform members. That
It's
is
not-
confirmed news. There will be two split off party from the Labour Party.
I'm going to give you my prediction.
Okay.
It's going to be the Liberal Democrats, and it's going to be led by Alfie Jed, Edmund Cassioberry, Idris, or Strat Helpers, whatever his name
This
is,
is so ridiculous.
possibly Mark Fremwell, and some other reject or incompetent
Yeah.
MP that we've
Yeah.
had to sack.
Wait, could
It'll
you
be
just
one of
repeat
those.
that list again?
So my predictions are Edwin
Oh, your
Castleberry.
predictions. Okay, no, don't worry. Then I don't want to hear that. Yeah,
Oh.
you're right.
This is
It
so
will-
Vinny,
it-
Vinny, can you
British
Vinny,
politics.
But
Vinny,
it
can
will
you
also-
continue what you were going to
that's the
say?
thing- That's the thing, Andre, is that Strat Helpers, you know, the guy that you said that was supposedly going to make the Liberal Democrats, I think that he will be working
Well,
with
I
Alfie
don't
Jedd.
think that my source, who has confirmed that this
Alfie
party is being created by Labour cabinet ministers,
Alfie
I
Jedd
don't think
making a
that
party?
they are going to work with Idris, because I think they've had a past of not that friendly
Vinny, can you
relationship.
just can you
So
just
yeah,
Before I do,
continue what you were going to say?
is Alfie Jedd making a party?
no.
Yes
Maybe
or no?
actually, because it says it's in conjunction with Tory and Reclaim dissidents.
Benny boy, is it true
There's
that
been no
you're making a
reclaimed
party?
dissidents though, so where's this come from apart from Strat Helpers who we've had to sack?
Well, it's not come from
I
him.
have
It's
a
come
mess-
from a
I
very
have a
credible
message for the
source from
voters
within
here.
the Labour Party.
If Alfie Jedd
What-
makes a party, do not vote for that party because that guy is the most stupid. That guy is the most stupid individual I have ever seen in my life.
Well, so there will be new spin-off
Right,
parties from Labour. So go back to the same question, guys. Do you
Oh,
believe
God.
it's the end of the Labour Party and the country?
Hey, we've got an expert.
Wait, did you say
coming
it
in.
was the end of the coalition? Did you just ask if it was the end of the coalition? You're a bit late.
Right,
Where
hold
is
on.
the
Let's
government?
just got some of the people in here because we've actually got a proper expert coming in now.
1 second. let me
And this
upgrade
is
my
his
gold
first
mines and I'll be back.
appearance for quite a long time actually.
Oh.
Wow.
GP News,
Yeah.
a political
upgraded it
correspondent,
anyways.
Olajide Tunjika. I don't know
Let's
if you've
get
met
back
him.
to this.
He's coming in to shed his thoughts because he's been working very closely with the Labour Party, especially breaking this case about new parties forming. He is a detective. He's a, what is it, like an undercover
It's Sammy,
journalist?
isn't it?
No, it's not
it's
Sammy.
not.
It's Olajide Tunjika. He's a
The journalist.
he's a what's it? Like detective journalist. What's the word?
Weapons.
Not
Investigative
undercover.
journalist.
Investigative journalist. He's an
If you
investigative
silence me, I'm
journalist.
gonna take you to court and I'm gonna sue you.
He's an investigative journalist. So let's just get him to undeafen. So yeah, this is
Bro, why is
this is the
anybody
first
speaking?
appearance of Olajide Tunjika on GB News for probably about a year.
Welcome, or Judy. Repeat his name again.
Olajide Tunjika.
Olujide Tunjika. Welcome, Olujide. Oh God. Welcome, Olu. Can you? I will need to prepare for that. Okay. Welcome, Olujide Tunjika. So, what is your thoughts on the destruction of coalition? Apparently, there seems to be a lot of outrage within the Labour Party. Two parties are being split up from them.
Really,
We can't hear you very well.
very challenging time of the, challenging time. I wish you good luck for the parties that, contributing to the growth of our nation. I wish good luck to them.
Sorry, we can't. Sorry, we can't hear you very well.
Listen, I'll be the translator. Go on.
Thank you.
Olujide, speak.
Can you repeat the question?
So, following, of course, the destruction of coalition, the Labour Party facing a motion of no confidence, seemingly the upsetness of both parties within themselves, of course, for the voters, and now two parties are going to be split up from Labour. Do you believe what kind of impacts would this major eventful day, cause to British politics?
Well, the destruction of the coalition of the Labour Party has been a contentious issue with with diverse opinions shaping the discourse. I think that some individuals may argue that it is the miss was necessary to step towards breaking away from an inefficient and outdated political alliance. However, they might contend that the coalition lacked cohesion and hindered meaningful progress, preventing the parties from following distinct ideologies and policies. On the other hand, these These are those who mourn the loss of the coalitions. You get it? You okay?
Yeah, great news.
Can I quickly just ask?
Mate, can
I
you
have a question
please
for
not
Ollie
interrupt
Judy.
our political correspondent, or you're gonna have to get kicked. All right, I didn't mute you, but whoever did. All right, sorry. Continue, Olajude.
Those who do
So it seems to be some technical difficulties here with Olajude, but I believe he's okay. Can someone translate what he says? Because I can't hear a
He was
word.
speaking facts. He was speaking facts.
Well, but what did he say? I
don't really
can't
know.
hear.
I don't really know.
I will conclude it. The opinions on the destruction. Sorry.
Why are you laughing?
Opinions on the destruction of the coalition of the Labour Party can be shaped by the various factors. I think that including the political. The assessment on the coalition's effectiveness and the vision for the future of the parties involved, the complex and the multifaceted nature of this issue really means that different perspectives shall continue to shape the ongoing debate. I wish you good luck.
Thank you very much, and for your opinions. And we believe, or do we echo his ideas?
I didn't
Yeah,
understand a
I
word
mean,
he
I
said.
agree
Freaking Lord, I was
completely
gonna
with
ask
Olajude.
Olajude if he was the one who was doing the sign language. But,
Yes, I can confirm that was me.
right, I am.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie. You are sexy. Anyways.
Okay. That
Anyways.
is, I believe that we will reserve it to another show on TV News.
However, next
probably
year, I
about
do think that the
dating.
next year, 2022 election. Sorry?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the 2022 election as well.
Yes,
We're in
next year-
2023.
No, we're
the
not.
2022
No, we're not.
one, next year.
What?
Next year, 2022 election.
Yeah, the next year
What
one.
is blood shedding? This is absolutely
I think
outrageous.
that Andre Hodge and Netless should really be looked at during this election.
Yep.
What's your guys' opinion on this?
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like Nathless is gonna win the election. Yeah. I feel like Reform Party are gonna win the election.
Well, I personally think that Andre Hodge, as a previous prime minister, he's also done a good job. He should be very looked at as well. Netless is not maybe he has a high position, but I think that Andre Hodge maybe had the potential for this.
What do you think about Reba?
I think
Aster?
Kelvin should be prime minister.
Olajude, what do you think about Reba Aster?
Sorry?
What do you think about Reba Aster?
Who's this?
The fat woman.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Olajude on that completely. What do you think, Joe?
I'm very quite confused now.
It's your choice, your body, your choice. You do whatever you want to.
Yeah, I agree.
Wouldn't
Your
cry
body,
if
your
someone
choice.
call you fat. If someone call you fat, then just
Yeah.
no, don't cry, don't cry.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Well, I'm a bit confused about what's going on now, but moving on, let's summarize what we came through for today because the show is going to end in a few minutes. But what we came through today, we have a very eventful evening. So, today, 1922 committee have motioned and passed a motion calling for the leader of the Conservative Party to end the coalition.
We have
yes, and we have 6 Tory MPs signing a petition against the coalition. The Home Secretary, the leader of the House of Commons, the Lord President of Council, Minister of State for Policing have all resigned from the government, and
the
now
Home Secretary
we
hasn't resigned.
Who are you talking?
God knows that. Okay, and so there's a list of resignation from the government, and now the Conservative Party leader have decided to pull out of the coalition. A few minutes ago, we have confirmed that there will be split ups from the Labour Party. One Labour MP will even vote vote against their own party in the motion of no confidence. The motion of no confidence will be hosted this Friday, which is likely to be the end of Reba Aster's government in premiership in the UK. There have been
Can we
lots
just
of
get
debates.
Jay's opinion on the Labour Party on the potential split that's going to happen now within the Labour Party?
I'm not sure, but continue with what I'm saying. So there are two confirmed split offs from the Labour Party, one called the Pirate Party, led by the former Socialist Party leader, and one unconfirmed name, but will be arranged by Tories, former Reclaim members, and Labour cabinet ministers. So it'll be a big party of various views of people. So, and we just have a lot of analysis being thrown in by politicians in the UK. Of course, our political editor, the name I can't
Bring me
pronounce.
back to the studio, please.
May I add something?
Of course, we have Benny Boy, who say the Conservative Party leader should resign.
Can you bring me back to the studio, please?
Oh, we have a few people outside the studio.
Yeah. I've brought my friend Walter White. He wants to say something.
I say something.
I want to hear this.
You ready, right?
Okay, I believe we want to hear this.
Who are you talking to right now? Who is it you think you see? Do you know how much I make a year? I mean, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe
I'm not in the serious country.
So let me clue you in, Skylar. I am not in danger. I am the danger.
Okay, and soon now we will see. Please have the camera to me.
Also, Theo Novak is considering a return. Apparently, he's just DM'd me. He's just DM'd me, and he's told me to tell you that Theo Novak is considering a return.
Oh,
God,
he's actually
who's
in the 9-party cabinet.
No.
He actually is.
No.
And
So,
We're not a serious country.
so
We're
in
not a
addition,
serious-
We are not a serious country. Yes,
Hello?
we are.
It's a very
Right,
serious
it's,
country.
it's who wants to make meth, huh?
We would rather
Sorry,
not have,
Olajide is trying to talk right
emotional
now, and
drugs.
we've had a. I don't know if you guys know, but we've had a
Methamphetamine.
past of Olajide being discriminated against. So I
think
wouldn't
I'll
like
be
to throw any of those
discriminated.
accusations around. So just let him speak.
Okay,
Let's
following
discriminate
all the
again.
events today,
After what happened
what
last
do you
time?
think?
What happened last
Please
time? Remember what
join
happened last
GB
time?
News server to get involved.
It's time
Share
to
your
make
thoughts.
You
methamphetamine.
remember what
I
happened?
will see you. Please,
Let's
please
make
calm down.
meth.
You said enough for me.
Wait,
Calm
wait.
down. Thank you very much.
Olajide just wants to
I will
say
see you.
some last few
J
words.
Factor will meet again next week, Sunday and Saturday, from 9:30 to 10:30 p.m. We are never on time, and we always finish late.
Let's just
But
get some
here
closing
we go.
words from Olajide because he was DMing me about
now
about just
again,
saying something.
stream ended.
I think that
Let's go.
in relation to the Labour split, the Brandon H20. I heard that he might
go fuck yourself, do your mum up the arse crack.
Would rather not have that
Anyways.
language. Okay, so Andrew Hodge, what was your news again?
So Olajide
Share
DM'd
like
me
savages.
about having some closing words about the Labour split because he wasn't asked about that, and that's the reason he came on.
Yes.
So.
Well, the Brandon, who's the I assume the coalition partner for Andrew Hodge. I hope that I assume that they might do the coalition with Andrew Hodge with Liberal Democrats next election. That is what I think right now. But God bless you all.
Thank you very much. God bless you as well. So, following all the events and the discussions we had today, what do you think? Join the GB News, GB News Discord server to get involved. And I'll see you next week, Sunday and Saturday, 9:30 to 10:30
Jesus
p.m.
bless you all.
Well,